Welcome back to Tech Essentials, top 3 AI breakthroughs for January 16th, 2026.
Wow, January 2026 it was a whirlwind month for artificial intelligence. It wasn't about just one single breakthrough. Nope, it was more like a perfect storm of huge events all happening at once, involving money, regulations, and the tech itself. So let's dive in and break down what actually happened, and more importantly, why it matters to you.
So, here's the bottom line. In 1 month, AI got a colossal injection of cash, a brand new set of really confusing and conflicting rules, and it's about to get a whole lot more personal by showing up right inside the apps you use every single day. The big question is, what does all this actually mean for you? We're going to look at this January jolt on 3 fronts. First, we'll talk about the fuel. That is, the massive new investment that's pushing the technology forward at lightning speed. Second, the friction. The growing battle over who actually gets to make the rules for it. And finally, the function. How AI is evolving from a cool novelty into your own personal assistant.
All right, first up, the fuel. Because let's be real, to build the future of AI, you need one thing more than anything else, an absolutely astronomical amount of money. And that is exactly what Elon Musk's startup, xAI, just pulled in. $20 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second. This isn't just a big investment, this is a huge statement of intent for the entire industry. And to put that in perspective, their initial goal for this funding round was $15 billion. The fact that they blew past that by $5 billion, that tells you everything you need to know about the incredible level of investor confidence right now. They're not just betting on one company, they're betting on a future that is completely powered by AI. Okay, so what in the world do you even do with $20 billion in the AI space? Well, it really boils down to 2 key things. First, you've got the brain power. That money funds the research to develop smarter, more sophisticated AI models. And second, you've got the muscle. You need to expand the massive computing infrastructure, all the servers and hardware needed to train and run these things. The bottom line is pretty simple. More money means more powerful AI, and it means we get it faster. But, all this power, all this money, it's definitely stirring the pot and creating a lot of tension. As AI just accelerates and accelerates, the race to control it is really heating up. And that brings us to the second key development, the friction, and the battle over the new rules of the game. So, at the federal level, the White House is trying to get out in front of all this chaos. A new executive order just dropped with the goal of creating a single, uniform national policy for AI. The idea is to have one set of rules that everyone has to follow. Simple, right? Well, not so fast. Here's the problem. While the White House wants this one national policy, several states, we're talking big ones like California, Texas, and Colorado, they've already passed their own big AI laws. So what you get is this classic tug of war, the federal government's ambition for a single unified approach versus the messy reality of a patchwork of different local laws. And the result of this clash? Well, it creates a whole lot of legal uncertainty. If you're an AI company, who do you listen to? The federal government or the state where you do business? This lack of clarity on everything from data privacy to who's liable when something goes wrong, it creates huge headaches and risks. It could even slow down innovation right as all that money is trying to speed it up. Okay, so we've got the fuel and we've got the friction. But what about the function? How does all this abstract money and policy actually show up in our day-to-day lives? Well, this brings us to the most personal part of the story. AI agents showing up right inside your apps. And getting this tech into your hands doesn't come cheap. Meta just dropped $2 billion to acquire a startup called Manus. And why would they do that? Because Manus specializes in building the exact kind of technology that could completely change how you interact with your phone forever. So what is an AI agent anyway? Well, think of it this way. It's not just a chatbot that can answer your questions. It's a program that can actually understand your goals and then take a bunch of actions in the digital world for you to get them done. It's a doer, not just a talker. Let's paint a picture here. Imagine opening up WhatsApp or Facebook, and instead of having to go to a bunch of different websites, you just ask the AI agent, hey, plan a weekend trip to Miami for me. It doesn't just send you a list of links, it comes back with actual flight and hotel options, right there, ready for you to book, all within the app you are already using. And look, this goes way beyond just booking your next vacation. This same technology could be used for some incredibly complex stuff. For businesses, we're talking about screening job candidates automatically. For you personally, it could be managing your chaotic schedule, or even summarizing those super long group chat messages that you just don't have time to read. Okay, let's take a step back. We've looked at the money, the rules, and the apps. So let's zoom out and connect the dots. What does this all mean when you put it all together? So a quick recap of January 2026. On the investment front, you've got xAI securing a massive $20 billion to hit the accelerator. On the regulation front, there's this growing battle between the US government and the states, which is just creating a fog of legal uncertainty. And on the application front, you have Meta spending billions to bring these AI agents directly into your life.
But the main takeaway here is that these aren't three separate stories happening in a vacuum. It's one big story about the collision of massive funding, chaotic legal battles, and really deep consumer integration. And it's all happening at the exact same time. We are literally witnessing an unprecedented acceleration and complication of the entire AI landscape.
And all of this leaves us with a really big and frankly kind of scary question. The technology is clearly getting smarter, it's getting richer, and it's getting woven into our lives more and more every single day. So the real question for all of us is this: who do you actually trust to set the boundaries? The people building it? The politicians? Or someone else entirely?